Back at Raptor's garage, and it's the final part of the Project the Green Meanie that we've been doing. We've had a busy couple of weeks. Paul's been doing stuff on the Discovery. I've been busy at home, but now it's that time of day that we need to get the Raptor paint on this project. So Raptor UK, the guys over at UPOL, have kindly helped us out with this. They've actually sent us 4 litres of black and 4 litres of tintable Raptor paint, because we're going to keep this colour scheme. We're going to do the bottom half of the truck in the black, we're going to do the top half in the green. So we've done these videos before, but we're going to do it again. We're going to take you through every step that you need to do to follow along so that you could use this Raptor paint on your own vehicles. We've said before, it's fantastic stuff, it's hard wearing, and it's fairly easy to lay on if you know what you're doing. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned guys as we get this Green Meanie all painted up. Right, so guys, if you follow along with this project, you'll know Paul's done an awful lot of work on this. So we've got a bit of a mix match of surfaces, yeah. We've got a mix match of surfaces that we need to paint, haven't we? So we've got stuff, yeah, we've got new metal, we've got old metal, we've got aluminium checker plate here. We're not going to strip this car to nothing, are we, to do this? Because as we've said in previous videos, if you want to do a showroom finish, you can use the Raptor paint and you can get showroom finishes. You strip everything off your car, you'd mask it all up properly. You know, we're building cars to go and basically play with or to go overlanding in, so we're looking more so just to...
We just want a durable finish.
A durable finish, and just to make, you know, make the car look good, but we're not going after showroom finish.
You know, when it's all covered in 3 stripes.
Yeah. Yeah. But as you said before, they go, it doesn't mark it.
It comes off.
We proper hammered these cars. Funny enough, somebody followed one of our Wikilocks trails recently and they commented on it, and their one comment was, it's a bit scratchy because there's a few certain tracks when the bushes and the trees just scrape down the side of the vehicle.
The one going to Strata, Florida?
That was the one, yeah.
Yeah, that's an understatement. A bit scratchy is an understatement.
You'll see either, you know, both mine and Paul's cars, there's no scratches on them now. You just basically, we silicone spray them and it covers it all up, doesn't it?
Yeah, bit of silicone wax and it's done.
So Paul,
but anyway, back to this.
What have we got to do with this?
Right, well you've got painted surface, we've got silicone, we've got aluminium, we've got the new steel. So we're going to do the repair work on the new steel. Basically we're going to fill it, feather the edges out where we've got bits welded on. So I've got 4mm plate over the top of 4mm plate, so I just want to feather those edges out. I'm not going to town on it, I'm just going to feather them. I'm going to hit it with a coat of black. Done, sorted. The bare metal and the new metal, I'll get a coat of etch prime from a rattle can. That's more than sufficient for this. If you know, back when I used to work in a paint shop, we would have etch primed it, baked it, done it that way. But for this and what it's going to be used for, it's just going to get etch primer from a rattle can. So etch prime anything that's bare, and this paint is just going to get keyed 120. Knock out a few runners. We're not going to fill it. We don't care about the dents. The dents are going to live there. We're just going to key it with some 120s. Mask up everything. We're not going to take everything off. The mirror's going to get masked up. The snorkel's going to get masked up. Wipers, lights, everything's staying on. This really is, you know, the basic that you need to do to get the paint on, and that's what we're doing. So we will pull the indicators, we'll pull these units because they come out easy, save a little bit of masking. These headlights can stay in because they're a pain to take out. I think I'm going to leave this bumper on that I'm sitting on, that's going to stay. Wipers are just going to get folded up and taped up. Windscreen, obviously that's going to stay in. And anything that isn't masked is going to get painted. That's it, it's that simple.
Cool.
I've never used the tintable one before, and it'll be a new one for me. So we'll see what that comes out like. I've gone through the instructions, pretty sure I know how to use it, but I'm going to do a test panel off camera so I can make sure that it actually works.
We'll go through all the mixing and everything.
We'll go through the mixing.
Gun settings and everything, and all the safety stuff that you need to know as well.
All that, we'll go through that. Other than that, dead straightforward. We've literally got half a car. We've got 2 doors, a bonnet, 2 wings. That's pretty much all we've got to paint on this.
So we're going to try and get it done in a day because Paul's got more work on the Discovery tomorrow.
It's broke.
It's
broke again. And it wasn't my fault.
I'm going to keep that bit when he says it's broke for more footage in the future when he denies that the Discovery ever breaks.
I didn't break it though.
No, of course not. Right guys, so I hope you enjoyed the video, follow along, and let's see what this looks like by the end of the day.
Right guys, the first part of this job is, while Chris is struggling to take the snorkel head off, is to do the filling. Like I said in the intro, we're just going to roughly fill all of this and get it shaped. It doesn't have to be brilliant. I mean, there is another video coming up soon of where we're taking this, and we don't even know if it's coming back. But that's a different story. There's so first job, get it filled. I've run the DA over it to key it. If you're filling anything, always make sure you key it. So give it a rough sand, because otherwise your filler won't stick. And what I'm going to use to fill this is short strand fiberglass, because it's waterproof. And if I can get this tub open, I'll show you what it looks like. And I might not be able to get the tub open, hang on. Now it's coming. There we go. Short strand fiberglass. Now, I've got an offcut of steel here to mix it on, because like I said in a previous video, don't mix your filler on cardboard. I'll drop that. Because the activator gets absorbed by the cardboard and not by your filler. So we don't need too much of that. Just as a rough fill, a little bit of that. So it's usually, what's the mixing ratio normally? Golf ball to a pea, yeah. Or, you know, that much to that much. So give this a good mix. See, doing it on a piece of steel like that, you get to use it all, because you just clean it up off the steel and give it a good mix. Always use your fingers. It's special that you use your fingers. You know you filled it properly. Because there's that bit that you just can't get the spreader into. But all we're doing with this fill, just getting the big gaps done and getting a rough shape. And as on this truck, most of it's a pretty rough shape. All the way along here. And like I said before in a previous video, any gaps like this, use this short strand filler, because it's actually fiberglass and waterproof, and it stops the water migrating into your welds. Because you'll see loads of people do this, they'll use filler and then wonder why 6 months later the filler's blowing off because it's getting rusty underneath, because it's porous. And that's roughly, you know, what we're doing with this. Get a rough fill in, let this go off, do the other side, come back, we'll sand this, and we'll have a look what it looks like once it's had its first sand. But 2 fills, I think this will do it. And just as a little what's it, that if you do it one edge flat and let it build up, you can round it off with the DA. Because obviously you want a rounded edge where you're coming in and out. But you'll never get this on in one fill. You'll always need to put 2 fills on to get it filled. The filler's gone off now. So first job, just knock all the tops off this, because this is, like I said, the first fill. This will give me a rough shape for the last fill. And like I said, I'm only putting two coats of filler on this, because we're going to be, you know, the Raptor line is fairly good at covering stuff. Got some 80 grit sandpaper, just to knock these down, and that should do it. Second coat of filler's been on, and I've flatted it out, and that's as far as I'm going with this, because the Raptor's going to cover all of this up now, because it's such a thick, heavy, durable coating. It'll hide any imperfections because it's a textured finish. So that's all I'm doing. That's as far as I'm, you know, literally going to go. Just feathered out everything, just so when you look down the line of the car, it's just going to look smooth. So going to do the same on the other side, and then we're on to sanding the body, and then we're going to start priming. So if your truck was here, we could just put the winch on it.
Pull it out. That's not even on.
That's
in the wrong place. That's supposed to. Is that not supposed to? This is supposed to be on the front.
no, no, that
Sure, because that's not even fixed at the back. That's just been.
You might be right, you know.
Surely you'd go through.
Yeah,
that,
yeah, you would.
that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Looking at this, I was a bit peeved that these were so twisted here, because it was kind of sitting like that. So we've had to go at bending it out, twisting it back in, but it still seems an awful lot of twist under here. And looking at it, it's obviously at some point we think had a shunt at the front end. They've put it all back on, but this brace coming back here shouldn't be there, it should be at the front of it. So this whole thing at the moment is pulled too far back. So I'm going to take it all off, bend it a bit, stick it back on, and hopefully this will actually sit and a bit more straight at the front and sort out where we've got this twist where it connects onto those front wings.
I don't think it's had a shunt. I think it's when they put the winch in, because originally I couldn't lift the winch out.
Yeah.
And when I put the
Instead of
bumper
taking
back,
it off to put the yeah.
and just
But
put
quite
it
how
back
they
in.
got that wrong. It's beyond, because it's not even bolted in at the back here.
You saw the wiring, right?
Well, that's true, yes. So explains everything.
Okay, we're on with the sanding now. Prior to sanding, if your car's been waxed or anything like that, any sort of polish of any description, you want to degrease the car. Now, I did this a few days ago with this one and it's not been anywhere, so I'm not worried about it. I actually just use Fairy Liquid because that's a great degreaser. It just, you know, you've seen it take the grease off a plate. Well, it does exactly the same for car polish. It just strips it off. Or you can do it with panel wipe. But we're not overly bothered about that. We'll actually panel wipe prior to spraying, but not prior to sanding, because like I just said, it's been degreased. But Chris is going to take you around to the other side now, because I've already sanded the other side. So just have a quick look at that.
So as you can see, Paul's had the sander on this. He's had like an 80 grit on the sort of the real rough places when he's obviously been finishing off where he's done the work, and then just like a 120 grit to kind of basically just take the shine off all of the paint. You see obviously in some areas you've now got some exposed original metal work, so what we'll do is we'll use some extra primer on those to cover it up. But this now is pretty much ready to go. Obviously, we'll, as Paul has just said, we'll panel wipe all of this now to clean all this up before it's first coat of paint, and we'll get it all masked up.
Right, when you're applying the panel wipe, to save panel wipe, and because panel wipe evaporates so fast, spray your panel wipe on your cloth, so you've got a nice wet cloth. Panel wipe the area you're going to be working on, and take your separate cloth and wipe off any excess, and that way you'll guarantee that you won't get any separation. You're not going to get it with Raptor liner, but you will with ordinary paint. So it's literally the wax on, wax off technique. So one cloth on, give it clean, and a separate one to get the bits off, and that leaves the area nice and clean. And now I've got to do the rest of this. Well, one of the most important jobs that you need to do prior to the application of the Raptor liner is etch prime. And basically this is an acid etch in a rattle can, and anything that's either rubbed through or new, like this checker plate, needs to be etch primed because it won't stick. The Raptor liner will peel off bare metal because it's not self-priming. So that is one of the most important jobs you need to do, is literally get one of these and just acid etch all the bare metal, which is what I'm going to do now while Chris starts setting off in the other room. Right guys, we're up to that point where we're ready to mix paint. So let me talk you through what's actually in the kit when you get it. So the Raptor liner comes in a box, and you get 4 of these 1 litre bottles of paint and a litre of activator in the kit, and instructions. First of all, thanks to the guys from U-Pol who sent us the paint to actually paint this truck. You know, I love this paint because I've already painted my truck in it. If they hadn't sent it to us, I'd have actually gone and bought it, and I've actually already got a box back there. But they sent us the tintable so we can do this green. But what you're going to need to actually spray the truck, you're going to need a Schultz gun, preferably with a regulator like this one, because you're going to need to spray the paint between 40 and 60 psi to the gun, not from the compressor. So I tend to shoot this stuff about 50 psi, go for middle for diddle. And this is the first time I've ever used the tintable. So an added you're going to need some base coat to tint it with. So we've got this lovely Kawasaki green to tint it with. So I'm going to mix this up now and we're going to fire it on the truck. So let's get this mixed up. Obviously the difference between this and the black is this is, well, it looks white but it's actually translucent when it dries, so it's completely clear. But as in with the other one, you mix the activator up to the line and you need to add some tint to it. Now I'm going for, because this is already green and it's a very similar colour, I'm going to actually put about 50ml of tint in and see how that comes out. It's the first time I've ever used it, so I don't know, you know, a bit of trial and error, see what the colours come out like. So if I can find my can opener. So that's the colour it's going to be. It's not far off what it already is. So let's give that a shake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this tint in first before I put the activator in, and I'm going to guess at about 50ml there. That's roughly about 50ml. We're going for science here. The reason I'm doing it this way is I forgot to pick up some mixing cups this morning, and Chris forgot to tell me to get them because I forgot to tell him to remind me. So let's have a look how this handy cloth to hand. See, I've even cleaned all the guns as well, so I'm going to have to put my fingers over the holes, otherwise I'm going to have paint everywhere. Now, it says on the instructions that you're going to need paint all over your hands. Up to 10%. So 10% of a litre is 100. Oh, that's plenty. Yeah, that's going to be loads in it. So I think that's about right. So let's get some activator in this and see what we end up with. Right, I've put 250ml of activator in that, so that is the colour that we're going to be spraying, and 50ml of this is plenty. That is well green, I'm telling you. Well, you'll see in a minute. So this is now ready. Once I've given it a good shake, make sure you mix our activator well into the bottom, because it does tend to settle at the bottom of these 1 litre bottles. So that's ready to shoot now. So we'll get the gun on that, that's ready to spray. But just one thing before, make sure when you're applying this stuff you wear gloves. You need a 2K mask. It's got to be a 2K mask. You really need to be in a well ventilated area. We're just under this cover here. We're open. There goes my paint. What's it? Good job I put the lid on. There's yeah, we're open to the outside, so we're well ventilated, and wear a long sleeve long sleeve top, because you don't want the overspray coming back on your arms. Chris has just reminded me to tell you that once you've put the activator in this, once you put the lid back on, you've got about 20 to 30 minutes pot life, which means while it's sealed with the lid on, you've got about 20 or 30 minutes. Once you start spraying it, you've got about, I think it's like 15, depends on temperature at the end of the day, how fast it's going to dry. But I reckon we've got about 15 minutes today in this temperature, because it's still quite warm. So, you know, don't mix them all up at once, mix them as you require them. Just a little tip, guys. When you've come to the end of your Schultz can, your litre of Raptor liner, there's always a bit left in the bottom. Just tip it into your next can. Makes it go a little bit further, doesn't it?
Paul's just finished putting the last coat on. That's 4 litres that they've used on the green truck. Now it looks fantastic. Now this last coat has gone on, it tends to sort of, the texture just smooths out a bit, and we'll show you some close-ups in a minute. We're going to give it a few minutes now to sort of start going off, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take off all of the masking tape and all the paper and then cover it. Then we're going to come back tomorrow and we're going to finish off by painting the bottom half of the truck in the black Raptor liner. So Sunday morning, guys, and we're back in the garage. Didn't want to bore you too much because obviously this video is all about using Raptor bed liner. So we've just got on with a few of the additional jobs. We've got the light bar back on the roof. We're just running the cable in for that. Paul is now masking up the other side, ready to start laying on the black Raptor bed liner. So yesterday, obviously, we did the green tintable version. It's come out fantastic. We're going to take you through a proper look at the results on that. Really pleased with that. It's done excellent coverage. Yeah, we were obviously painting a green colour on top of what was an existing green, but we did spray some areas which were basically had no treatment on them, were just black, and it's gone over that in just one coat on some areas. So we can show you just how well that stuff actually goes on. Paul is around the corner now, masking up, ready to lay on the black. Now this is the first time we've ever done any masking up with Raptor, because obviously it's a textured finish, so it's a bit unusual to try and get obviously a decent line. So I'm going to take you around now and show you what Paul's doing, because he's got a couple of handy tips if you ever want to mask up when you're spraying Raptor.
Like Chris has just said, it's Sunday morning. I've been in the workshop since 7 o'clock this morning, just getting bits ready and finishing bits from yesterday. But as for masking up this Raptor liner, with it being textured, I've had a few issues. I've tried vinyl tape, which you use for pinstriping and stuff like that. That won't stick, it's going to bleed under. This is low tack adhesive tape. That doesn't want to stick to it. I've tried high tack adhesive, is okay, but gaffer tape sticks really well, and it's such a tight edge. I don't think I'm going to get any bleed under, because what you don't want is the black to bleed into the green. You want a nice straight line. So I think gaffer tape is the way forward if doing straight edges. But I don't see why you couldn't do any other sort of design in it, because it does stick really well and the edge is so tight. So top tip of the day, if you're masking it up, use gaffer tape. Guys, that's it, all painted. I've only gone for the one coat on the bottom because it's black on black. It was going to cover. I've just put one heavy coat and I've used a litre just to do that, and it's plenty, it's covered. And just to have a look at how the gaffer tape performed. Oh, that was stupid. There we go. I think that's pretty good. That's a nice line. And it's got me, oh, that's how sticky it is. It's got me gloves. So gaffer tape definitely works for masking it. That's a spot on line. That's pretty good. Oh, I'm happy with that.
So guys, it's done. We've been messing about. We're still trying to finish off things like electrics. There's still a few little jobs that we need to do on the truck to get it finished. But we thought we'd make the most of the weather while it's holding off to pull it out in the daylight and let you see the finished result. I think if you watch our videos, you know we love Raptor bedliner, and it's a big thank you to the Raptor who actually sent us the paint so that we could do this truck. It's the first time that Paul's ever used the tintable version, and we're really pleased about how it went on, aren't we?
I'm absolutely astounded how it went on. Yeah. It went on brilliantly. There's considering the way, when you get it, it's that sort of translucent opaque. Yeah. Looks like wallpaper paste, doesn't it? But it doesn't take a lot of base coat in it at all to make the colour. I reckon I was putting between 50 and 60 mil in, so not a lot, and it covers great. And like you were saying earlier, some people saying, oh, it doesn't cover. I haven't had that issue. It covered. Even shooting these panels down at the front, which were just black. Okay, I laid it on really heavy, but it's still covered in one. And you can lay this stuff on heavy. You've seen how I did the sides this morning. They went on in one, and they were on top of black. Yeah. And we've had no issues. Yeah. But I did my truck over a year and a half ago.
Yeah, mine's good. Over a year old now.
Yeah, and we just love this stuff.
We've just tried a few different silicone sprays, haven't we, to keep them looking good, and it works fantastic. Yeah. Bit of silicone spray, rub it on it. I've been using Arm Roll, but you're using a new one, Maguire's or something like that.
Yeah, I'm just using Maguire's.
Proper deep shine to the black.
What is it? It's a black restorer polish.
Yeah.
But it just hides the scratches. I mean, they're not actually scratches. They're just scuffs, because this stuff doesn't scratch. But if you want to bring the shine back up on it, that's what we use. Yeah, it's great.
So we've got one of the big jobs now we've got finally to finish this is the bumper. We didn't spray the bumper, although we had the black Raptor bedliner on the go. We haven't sprayed it because we've had the heads up that Raptor are bringing out an aerosol version, a 2K aerosol version of the liner, and they're sending us a couple of samples to try out. So what we're going to do is we're going to try those aerosol versions on this bumper, because they're going to be perfect for things like that. Because if you're like me, I don't have the facilities that Paul has, and I often find myself, it'd be nice to touch up that, or it'd be nice to spray that in Raptor bedliner, but I don't want to use a whole litre bottle of the stuff because it would be a bit pointless. It's far too much. So we're going to test out these aerosols in a week or so. We'll bring you the video on that and show you how we get on with it. Guys, so hope you enjoyed the video. Again, Raptor bedliner, great stuff. We love it. So if you liked it, don't forget to click and subscribe, give us some comments below, and a little thing to finish with, if you've actually bothered to watch this video to the very end and listen to me and Paul waffling just now, what we need is some ideas for what to call the truck. Now, I've been calling it the Green Meanie. Paul refers to it as the Little Mitzi. We want a name for it, and we're going to take basically the best three names that we like. We're going to choose one of them, but the three people that give us the best names, we're going to send them one of these Raptor t-shirts that we've got, a badge, and we've got some nice Raptor stickers we'll send you off. So we'll pick the three best names, we'll choose a winner, but for all three of those top names, we'll send you a little package in the post, just a thanks for watching the videos. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed it. See you on the next video, and take care.
See you later.
Fucking hell, take care. What was that?
I even had the sound on.